Today, we need to talk about the elephant in the room, those tariffs. I'm all about helping you navigate these uncertain times. Let's dive into the 10 things you need to stock up on before March 1st, 2025. First up, let's talk about the stuff that sustains us. Food. Think about it. Coffee from south of the border, sugar, those delicious tropical fruits all impacted. Even avocados, the darlings of the millennial generation, are going to feel the squeeze. When tariffs make imported goods more expensive, it creates a ripple effect. Suddenly, domestic producers have a surplus, and that can lead to price spikes. And for those products we can't easily grow here, well, let's just say you haven't seen grocery store lines this long since the great toilet paper panic of 2020. So what do? Start by stocking up on non-perishable staples: rice, beans, pasta, the stuff that lasts. And don't forget about canned goods, especially fruits and veggies. Stock up on food and stock up now. Let's move on to something a little more spirit-lifting. Yes, folks, we're talking about alcohol. Those tariffs aren't just coming for imports. They're also targeting American exports, and that includes our homegrown spirits. We're talking bourbon, whiskey, craft beers, all facing hefty taxes when sold overseas. This has the potential to hit American alcohol producers hard. We're talking about lost revenue, job losses, and even distillery closures. So what does this mean for you? Stock up now while prices are still reasonable. Because once those tariffs hit, your favorite libations could become a whole lot more expensive. And it's not just about the price, folks. With American alcohol facing headwinds overseas, we could see a decrease in variety and availability here at home. Ensure your home bar is well stocked before the tariffs take full effect. We're talking about the backbone of the American economy, the automotive industry. Cars these days are basically rolling computers, with parts sourced from all over the globe. Those tariffs are going to translate into higher prices for new cars, trucks, and SUVs. American manufacturing, and specifically, the steel and aluminum industries. These are the backbone of our industrial might. But even these titans of industry aren't immune to the fallout from a trade war. When you slap tariffs on imported steel and aluminum, it makes those materials more expensive for American manufacturers. And that means higher costs for everything from cars and appliances to construction materials and infrastructure projects. Those higher costs get passed down the line, folks. First to businesses, then to consumers like you and me. So get ready for price increases on everything from that new refrigerator you've been eyeing to the cost of building a new home. These tariffs also put American jobs at risk. When American manufacturers have to pay more for raw materials, they become less competitive on the global stage. If you're planning any major purchases that involve steel or aluminum, like a new car or a home renovation, you might want to consider moving those plans forward. Now let's talk about saving a buck. And where do we go to stretch our hard-earned dollars? That's right, folks. We're talking about those big box stores we all know and love. Walmart, Target, Costco, and the like. Those massive retailers rely on global supply chains to keep their shelves stocked with everything from clothing and electronics to groceries and home goods. And when those supply chains are disrupted by tariffs, it creates a domino effect that leads to higher prices for consumers. Those cheap imported goods that we've all come to rely on, they're about to get a whole lot more expensive. Experts are predicting that grocery bills alone could increase by as much as 25% due to the tariffs. That's a significant hit to anyone's budget. Something you might not think about every day, but it affects every single product you buy. Packaging. Yes, I'm talking about those cardboard boxes, plastic containers, and shrink-wrapped wonders that protect our goods from the factory floor to our front doors. A lot of the raw materials used in packaging, especially cardboard, come from, you guessed it, those countries we're currently embroiled in a trade war with. When you slap tariffs on those imports, it sends shockwaves through the entire packaging industry. Suddenly, the cost of cardboard skyrockets, and that increased cost gets passed down the line. First, to the companies that manufacture the packaging, then to the businesses that use that packaging for their products, and finally to you and me, the consumers. Get ready for higher prices on just about everything. That box of cereal, that six-pack of soda, that new pair of shoes, all of it comes in packaging, and all of it is about to get more expensive. Be prepared to pay a little more for just about everything. Homeownership. But with the recent tariffs, that dream could be getting a whole lot harder to achieve. Why? 2 words: lumber prices. A significant portion of the lumber used in the US, especially for framing houses, comes from, you guessed it, Canada. And when you slap a tariff on those imports, it sends the price of lumber skyrocketing. Those higher lumber prices don't just affect new home construction, they ripple through the entire housing market. When the cost of building a new home goes up, it puts upward pressure on the prices of existing homes as well. And that means higher mortgages, higher rents, and a whole lot less affordability for everyone. If you're in the market to buy a home, you might want to consider doing so sooner rather than later. The price of fuel. While the US is a major oil producer, we still rely on imports to meet our energy needs. And guess what? A significant portion of those imports come from, you guessed it, the very countries we're engaged in a trade war with. When you slap tariffs on those oil imports, it sends shockwaves through the entire energy market. Suddenly, the cost of crude oil skyrockets, and that increase gets passed down the line to refineries, distributors, and ultimately, to you and me at the gas pump. Get ready for higher prices on everything from filling up your car to heating your home this winter. Even if the US ramps up domestic oil production, it's not going to happen overnight. So in the meantime, we're all stuck paying the price for these ill-advised tariffs. Consider ways to reduce your fuel consumption, like carpooling, using public transportation, or consolidating errands. Electricity. While the US has a robust electrical grid, we rely on a complex web of interconnected systems and imported components to keep the power flowing. Many of those components, from transformers to solar panels, come from, you guessed it, the very countries we're engaged in a trade war with. When you slap tariffs on those imports, it creates a ripple effect throughout the entire electrical grid. The cost of maintaining and upgrading the grid skyrockets, and that increase gets passed down to utility companies and ultimately to you and me in the form of higher electricity bills. Be prepared for higher electricity bills and consider ways to reduce your energy consumption. Fertilizers. Those chemical concoctions that help farmers grow more abundant crops and feed a growing population. But with the current trade tensions and tariffs, the cost of those fertilizers is skyrocketing, and that's bad news for everyone. While the US does produce some fertilizers domestically, we rely heavily on imports, particularly from, you guessed it, Canada. When you slap tariffs on those imports, it sends the price of fertilizers through the roof. Those higher fertilizer prices don't just affect farmers, they affect everyone who eats food. When the cost of fertilizers goes up, it increases the cost of production for farmers. And those higher costs get passed down the line to food processors, distributors, retailers, and ultimately, to you and me at the grocery store. Get ready for higher prices on everything from fruits and vegetables to meat and dairy products. Brace yourselves for higher food prices and consider ways to stretch your grocery budget. There you have it. 10 essential items to stock up on before March 1st, 2025. I know it seems like a lot, but trust me, a little preparation now can go a long way in navigating these uncertain times. Now I want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on these tariffs and their potential impact? Are you taking steps to prepare? Share your thoughts and concerns in the comments section below. Stay safe out there, everyone.